The Dads That Game radio podcast is brought to you by Video Games Monthly. Video Games Monthly is a monthly subscription service that delivers retro video games to gamers who own classic gaming systems from the 1980s through 2000s. And the best part is, you keep the games. Check us out at videogamesmonthly.com.
Live from his wife's basement, still gaming into their elder years. This is the Dads That Game radio podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wolf and William Small.
Welcome to the Dads That Game radio podcast, coming at you like a bad marriage proposal that seems to be stuck in a video game. That's right. It's another episode of Dads in Space. I really hope that echo thing worked. I really.
I heard it in my head, even if it didn't. I don't know. But,
I think it did. I think it's gonna be fantastic when it turns out. Tune in this week. All right. Thank you. This is show 119. Please check us out, www.noobsandpros.com. Thank you for sticking around Thursday nights. You can find us on the Podcast Radio Network. Please support them. Download their apps. You can download the Crikey app, Krykey. You can also download the TuneIn app on Crikey. Just tune to 102.6. On TuneIn, just search for the Podcast Radio Network. You can find us Thursday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you also to our friends at Player One Coffee. Please visit their website, playeronecoffee.com. Type in code DADSThatGame at your checkout, and you can get 5% off. First-time users only. Man, there's a lot that happened this week, Will. Just a lot.
yeah.
I have a confession. We'll get to it. Yeah, I know. It's something I said I would never do it again, and I went right back to it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it happened. I broke down. Everybody's been talking about it. So
That's why I did it.
Yep,
So,
I know.
See?
I know, and I'm disappointed in myself, but I'm not. Well, I'm kind of, but I'm glad the way the game's gone. You know what? I'm just gonna come out with it. I've been playing Destiny 2: The Forsaken campaign.
Now,
There, I
tell
said
me
it.
something. Have you been
Yeah.
playing it on PC or PS4?
PC.
That's what I figured. So, let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
So, have you got to 50 and 500?
Yeah, I've already gotten to 500. I already finished the campaign. I've already unlocked the Hidden City, the Dream City.
Yeah, the Dream City, yeah.
I'm just working on all the cleanup on that right now. So yeah.
So I'm 506.
I'm about
But-
510. Yeah.
Jeez, you've played shorter than me and are already past where I am.
Well,
But
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I do a lot of research on like how to level up, and they said the best way to.
It's all about those prime engrams. And, like, all
but not
that
even
stuff.
the engrams this time, because previously before they said it was about engrams, but what they said the big kicker this time to get yourself leveled up was the bounties. So if you just went out and straight did bounties, you could get yourself up to 500 super quick, and that's what I did.
I did all that.
Yeah.
But once you get to 5, trying to any gear past that, you have to do anything for powerful engrams, and or prime engrams only. So you make sure that you're attuned with the Cryptarch so that you have the chance to have prime engrams drop.
Right.
But the only thing that bothers me is when you get to the Awakened City or whatever they call the Sleeping City or
Dream City.
Whatever the hell it's called.
Right.
When you get there, and I picked up all of the quests there, and all of the public stuff is all 530, and I'm getting destroyed.
Yeah, you will.
And you know, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that you get to these places like that, and it's so much above. Like one of the spider bounties, the weekly one. Yeah. It said, oh, as soon as you're 500, you can pick this one up.
Right,
oh,
and then it's 540. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
I got
see,
to the last room, and I wasn't prepared.
There's no way you can get past it at your level.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah. No, I had the same problem. The only thing that I would say is a saving grace this time around is the Destiny Finder app, the Fireteam app. That's the only way I got through that. So, and unfortunately,
definitely alone at 500. I think I was 504.
Right.
And I got to the final room where the big bubble is, and I couldn't do it. There was
it was wave after wave after wave. But there's no way you could do it single. There's just no way, unless you're like 550 or 560. There's no way. Yeah. No, the benefit of the Destiny Finder app is that I think the benefit of the app is if you don't have that group, and this has been my biggest complaint about this game, and it's still my biggest complaint, is that if you don't have that group that's, you know, dedicated to obviously raiding or doing, you know, obviously nightfall missions or doing anything else, the game's gonna wear thin very quickly. It really is. If you're trying to play it alone, you can play single player up to a certain point, but until you start getting to the end game stuff, and then after that, you have to have friends, or you have to know how to find people. Yeah.
And now I'm at that point where it's just, you know, I'm still just trying to get up higher, and you know, I was really lucky. Like, unlike, you know, me, instead of getting a Chatter White, I got a Destiny 1 shotgun. What is it? The something Wolves.
Sure.
And it shoots like rapid fire shotgun.
Nice.
And it's flames, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Like any yellow, like typical yellow, like mini boss guy.
Yeah.
I annihilate them, and I got it super early, and I've already got up to 505, and you know, it's amazing. But since then, you know, everything has just been, you know, kind of random.
Yeah. You'll be mad. You'll be mad at me if I told you what I have.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. But,
well, you know, the fallen ships that they drop in on.
Yes. Did you get one of those?
I got one of those.
That's really cool. Yeah, I saw that. I got one of the exotic sparrows.
Yeah, me too. I got the one with the skull in the front of it. It's really cool looking.
Which one is that the one that
I think it's the one that drops off the boss. Yeah, I'm not sure. It drops off it's a strike, but so
I got the one I got has like a weird round back, and like it looks like it's got like a loop around you.
Yeah.
And it lets you do tricks again. That's the only thing I care. I think it's fun to, you know, do
some tricks
and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so that's cool. But anyway, we've talked about our shiny new girlfriend.
Right. My point is I'm playing again, and I'm giving it a shot. I would really say though, if you haven't played Destiny 2: The Forsaken, it's a step in the right direction. Like the environment.
It makes you feel like Destiny 1.
Well,
like
that's the way I was wishing the game would have been. Yeah. And obviously, if you've been burnt like I was and don't feel like going back to it, I'm not going to blame you. I debated forever, and then my friends online were finally committed to going back to it, so I went back to it and I started playing again. But it
feels good. But
just even what they did with the Fallen, like I know it's not a new enemy; it's like just render different color. But I mean, they redesigned the Fallen, this particular group, so I didn't feel like it was like the Forsaken, like where you just rendered them, you know, a black and white shadow. Like they did a really, really good job, like reimagining, you know, these characters out of the Prison of Elders. So, and then the environments are just gorgeous. I mean, just the dark environments, like where there was, you know, like on probably the second to last boss. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but just lightning crashing everywhere, just darkness everywhere. I mean, it was just absolutely just breathtaking. Yeah.
And the final surprise boss, without spoiling anything, the final surprise boss of the main campaign was really cool when you didn't expect it. So that's, you know, of course you knew what you expected, and then it took a left turn. Our show does.
Well, I mean, it was kind of nice how they tied in the story to the raid campaign this time, because I don't feel like they've ever done that before, and now they finally did that. So.
And then the whole point with like with the completion. This is part. I think one of our stories today is part of the who finished the raid first and all of that. But by finishing the raid, they've changed the game. So
there's secret things you can actually go buy too. So we'll get into it. Let's talk about games that you can get yourself hands on. Now here's the thing. This is a part of our stories as well. Nintendo is launching their online service tomorrow, a free trial, free 7-day trial. I'm not going to get too far deep into it because I know that we can debate at the end of the show. At the end of the show, I actually wanted to cover the Nintendo Direct that happened this week. So we'll talk about games that we saw. No Metroid. Thanks, Nintendo. Other cool announcements, though. And then I thought we could get into the new online service because that's actually been a topic of debate this week. So I figured we could debate it as well. Other topics we'll get into as well. We'll talk about cross-platform services and who's standing in the way. I'll give you a hint. Obviously, we'll talk about Destiny 2, what happened this week. We'll talk about Dying Light, getting back into the Ooh, survival gaming. We're going to talk about Fortnite. It's back in the news, and man, it's hilarious this time. But let's start off with weekend release. Obviously, these are games you can get yourself a hand on. The reason that I mentioned Nintendo first, though, is because when I'm reading through these game calendar, these are games starting tomorrow that you're going to be able to get yourself on this online service. So for Nintendo Switch, you're going to be able to get yourself Gradius, which is it's straight up an NES game. Ice hockey. I'm excited about that one. I loved ice hockey. I don't know about you. These are all Switch, and this is all on the 18th. River City Ransom, Pro Wrestling, Baseball, Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong, Dr. Mario, Ice Climber, The Legend of Zelda, Mario Brothers Soccer, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Bros. So the original balloon popping adventure. Yep. And then Super Mario Brothers, Tennis, Double Dragon, Capcom Beat 'em Up. Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. There's a bundle on that one. That one's going to come with Battle Circuit, Final Fight. Let me see. What else is there? I don't know. There's quite a few of them actually in there. So very, very cool that they're doing that. Also, that's it for that's for Capcom Beat 'em Up. It's actually going to be on PlayStation 4. Double Dragons where it ended with those classic games. More games coming, and like I said, we'll get into the online part in a minute here. But also on the 18th, you can get yourself Labyrinth of Refrain, Kevin of Dusk, that is on the Switch, PC, and PS4. Undertale on Nintendo Switch. Sword of the Guardian, Scribblenauts Mega Pack on Nintendo Switch. Yoshi. Now that is the new Yoshi game. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That is the old Yoshi game. That is like the Dr. Mario of the Yoshi games. Yes, I remember this game. Yes. So, man, they got these all out of order. Sorry. Tecmo Bowl, not Techno. If you ever remember that game, the game's amazing. Mm-hmm. Excite Bike, Ghost and Goblins. So I'm back into classics again. Single Craft Commander. I do not remember that game. Do you remember that game? It used to be, actually, it was on Xbox. So actually, it's porting over to the Switch. Wow. That's interesting. That is it for the, Ghosts and Goblins was it for the 18th. Siegecraft Commanders on the 19th. On the 20th, you're going to be able to get yourself Cross Code on PC and The Gardens Between on Nintendo Switch. Hover on Nintendo Switch. Let me see. Light Fingers on Nintendo Switch. I'm sorry, there's just so many games. A Case of Distrust on Nintendo Switch. It feels like there's some distrust between us, Will. I'm going to build a case about it. Okay. Reigns, Kings and Queens on Nintendo Switch. Man, there's a lot of indie games coming out. I apologize. I'm not apologizing for video games. I'm just saying, like, there's just a lot of stuff I'm going to read here. This is going to cover you till the 22nd. Retimed on Nintendo Switch. Broken Sword, The Serpent's Curse on Nintendo Switch. Man, there's a lot of third-party indie games. Spyro, finally coming over. Spyro Reignited Trilogy on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That is on the 21st. Broken Sword is on the 21st as well. And then the big kickers coming out on Nintendo Switch. Actually, this one's not a big kicker, but My Brother Rabbit, third-party game. And then the big kicker, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden County. Golden Country, not county. It's just limited to one area. No, country. Sorry. But that is it's like the prequel of the Xenoblade Chronicle game. The new one. So fantastic. It's kind of tells the story of your nemesis, obviously in the game, who you're fighting. Kind of tells their story. So I thought it was very interesting. So get a lot of games to look forward to, and obviously tomorrow, Hello Retro. Dear God. So if you haven't signed up for the 7-day trial, I believe you can right now. I believe. I don't know if it starts tomorrow. If it actually you can get in there right now. Might want to check it out. I'm excited about ice hockey though, man. I don't remember if you ever played ice hockey, but I freaking loved that game.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I loved pro wrestling though too.
Pro wrestling was fantastic. Yeah.
Loved pro wrestling. I always played aside from playing as the swamp monster guy who chomped on people's faces, I always played the Starman because he had the invincible kick move. Sure. Where if you just kept doing it over and over, no one could hit you.
Sure.
So
I gotcha.
It's just awesome.
And then I do have a demo of the week. If you guys haven't heard, they've actually extended out the demo for the week. So if you haven't tried it as of yet, it's open beta right now. Battlefield. I'm sorry, not Battlefield. Call of Duty. Sorry, the other one. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's the blackout mode. So it's actually their battle royale mode. I've seen a lot of articles this week asking basically, is it a Fortnite killer? No, I really don't think it's a Fortnite killer, but I can tell you one thing that my honest opinion, is it a PUBG killer? Yeah, I really do think it's going to kill PUBG. I really do. Because, I mean, Fortnite obviously stole PUBG's numbers. PUBG's made a lot of efforts to make, new maps and new advancements to the gameplay and stuff like that. This is fun. And I'm not kidding. Like, I played the demo with a bunch of friends. We played Friday, Saturday night. Just had a blast. There's helicopters that you can fly around in. There's a lot of vehicles that you can drive around in. And I mean, it's just straight up just all the mayhem. It's just all the mayhem Call of Duty brings. But I mean, just in a battle royale, mode. Yeah. I had a blast. And I really do think it's going to take a chunk out of Fortnite. I don't think it'll kill Fortnite, but I really do think it's going to be kind of damaging to PUBG. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I really do.
I don't want to make this analogy, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Currently, I feel like every single time that a new battle royale comes out and everybody keeps saying, "Oh, is this the Fortnite killer?"
Right.
It's exactly the same thing as every time a new MMO came out and it was like, "Oh, is this the WoW killer?
Well,
is this the game that's going to kill WoW?"
We talked about that before. Yeah, we talked about it before with analogies on games being like games. So, right.
But what I mean really is that Fortnite is its own killer. Eventually, it will lose numbers.
It has. It's already been phasing out. Yeah.
Right. But, it's such a huge phenomenon that I think it's just because it goes down in numbers doesn't mean that people aren't going to be playing it like 2-3 years from now. Because there will be.
There will be.
Especially a lot of the younger kids that are playing it and loving it, they're going to play it for a lot longer.
Right.
Until something different completely other than like these battle royales, like whatever the next thing is that becomes the new phase of gaming.
I think this has the potential though to kind of grab that crown though, and I'm just being honest because when I was playing it, it was just a blast to play.
Yeah.
Like I love Fortnite
behind it. So.
Right. I mean, you have all the Call of Duty players; they're gonna love it as well, and obviously they're gonna be in love with the multiplayer mode. Biggest complaint, obviously, still is the armor, and I think that's why they're beta testing it still is because they really need to tweak the armor because it's still ridiculous. But I think I had more fun playing this than I've ever had playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and it's competitive right up there with Fortnite. And I know a lot of people think that Fortnite is very kiddie and things like that, but that leads me into the news that you can use this week. I'm segueing here, but Fortnite has now been cited in more than 200 divorce proceedings. It's sad but true. So there's a press release from an online divorce service, Divorce Online, which I did not know was a real thing, but apparently it is, who presumably have vested interest in making divorce seem sexy and cool in a way that you could only walk off the screen and into, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how you make it sexy and cool. Whatever.
No.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Divorce is horrible for all parties involved. It really is. But in 5% of all, and this was in British divorces last year, so I have no idea what the statistics are, obviously, for America. You can go out there and search some pretty funny videos of women and men, like a man will be playing Fortnite, and the woman will be furious and taking his PlayStation and Xbox and destroying it because he's playing Fortnite. But they said that 5% of all British divorces, obviously through this site, now keep in mind, this is through this site, and this is not... through court proceedings or, lawyers and things like that, because we don't have those statistics. But through this site, 5% were caused because of Fortnite. They listed Fortnite for reasons of divorce. Good job. Good job, Epic. Way to make that achievement possible. Dear God. So I think it's still, like I said, I don't think Fortnite's ever going away soon. Especially if you have reasons like this where people are I mean, kids are stealing credit cards to buy skins, and now men and women are getting divorced because the man or the woman is playing way too much Fortnite. I'm guessing the man. I've never really heard of a story of where he's like, babe,
playing too many. Yeah.
Babe, come on. I'm hungry over here. Let's stop playing Fortnite. So there's that accent again. So, but I just think it's just very interesting to hear that, you know, obviously a game causes this much hubbub, and that's how I know, like, it's not going to go any you know, it's not going to go away anytime soon, but I do think it's going to start taking a hit very soon, because I think people are getting bored. I really do. And people don't want to pay, you know, $25 every single day for a new, you know, stupid skin that comes out. But you know, obviously Epic has made money doing that, but I just think people are finally wising up. So it happens. So hopefully you'll start seeing some deep discounts on, you know, obviously some skins, or I just don't know where they're going. You know, I don't know how you can go up from this point. Yeah. You know, so I think you may have plateaued. Deals, maybe. Well, I don't know. I think, like, you know, there's a plateau in every, obviously, graph. You know, when you go up and you peak, you have nowhere else to go except for down. And I think that you plateaued. You know, I think you've hit your peak, you plateaued, and then, unfortunately, the only way you can go from here is down. And it happens. It just happens with every video game. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what else I can say, honestly. So, it is funny to hear, though, that people are divorcing over Fortnite. So, I thought it was funny. It's probably not funny for those families, but it makes me laugh. Moving on. Unless you want to, I don't know, anybody want to call in and tell us about their spouse playing too much Fortnite? Phone lines are open. Call now. All right. But let's move on to Destiny 2 news. Obviously, we talked about it. We talked about, I don't know, like I said, I don't think I would ever gotten back into this game, except for everybody around me telling me that they're going to play again. And I'm kind of glad that I did, but I'm still super disappointed in one thing. And that's when you buy the $40 expansion pass. Yeah, I think it was, $40. Yeah, $40 expansion pass. Then they open up another $40 expansion pass, another $40 season pass. So it's just, it really sad that they have
money on top of money on
right.
Top of
it's
money.
Just, it's still a cash grab. I think that's my biggest complaint. And it's like, I think they did a lot better job at putting a lot more material in this one, but I'm still super disappointed that they didn't do the same effort for the first, you know, first two expansions that they did, or 3 or whatever it was, with, you know, basically with all the money that people have spent on the original game, plus the expansion, which was like $120 for, you know, that core game plus the expansions. And they did such a piss poor job at the first 2 expansions. And then all of a sudden,
$40, and then they're telling you, oh,
right,
after you've already bought Forsaken, now buy another year's worth of expansion.
Right, for $40 another dollars.
Better than the last year.
Right. So I'm kind of concerned, because it's like, I've always said, I mean, I kind of feel like a hypocrite. I really do, because I've been really, really strong about my values of, like, I'm not going to play it anymore. I'm done. Yep. But it's like, it's the only shooter that I can think of out there that actually is an amazing shooter. Like, that's the only thing I can say about it. It's an amazing shooter. I enjoy playing it. It's a lot of fun.
You just get burnt out.
It just burns you out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like any other game. But I don't know, man. I think that I think that if you hold on long enough, and if Anthem is what they're saying it'll be, then I'm going to switch over to Anthem.
Yeah, that'll probably be the next thing that we convert to.
Right. So, because I don't know about the Division 2. I know there's still people who play Division. I got burned out on that one as well. And I know Division obviously has way more amazing things in it. I don't know. I'm just getting at the point where I don't have a ton of time to invest in all these video games anymore, you know? Yeah. So I know that's shocking for me, Mr. I buy every video game, but I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I don't, half the time I don't even want to play video games anymore. Like, honestly. Like, I'm just doing other things. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm getting older. I don't know. I've said I don't know like 9 times. So, yeah. moving on. But I'm going to talk about, obviously, the positive of Destiny 2 right now. So after 18 hours and 48 minutes of playing, a Destiny 2 clan named Redeem were the first players in the world to finish the game's Last Wish raid, released, obviously, Friday. When they defeated the raid boss, some new changes appeared in the game for every other player in Destiny 2. When the players entered the Dreaming City after Clan Redeemed completed the raid, they were treated to a cutscene that explained some of the events that triggered the curse that flowed out of the raid zone and impacted the world of Destiny 2. As Bungie hinted on their Twitter page, the death of Riven of 1,000 voices has set off an unprecedented. That's like the word edited. It's just too many editeds. So I'm moving on. I'm sorry. Unpredictable. Actually, that's not even unprecedented. It says unpredictable. I'm horrible. Unpredictable chain of events. Wow, this is a bad day. In practical terms, the changes have been made to Destiny 2 are varied. There's a new strike called the Corrupt to Play, which Kirk Hammond told me is very, very cool. He didn't tell me that. He told, actually. This was off of Kotaku, so I apologize. There's a new strike called the Corrupted to Play. I already went over that. There's an additional story mission that can be picked up from Petra. There's a new Gambit map called the Cathedral of Stars. Players are also reporting things like a new heroic mode for the Blind Well event and some new corruption visual effects that appear in the Dreaming City. This isn't the first time that Bungie have locked interesting new things behind raid completion. Emperor's Respite, a Crucible map, was unlocked for all Destiny 2 players after the first completion of the Leviathan raid last year. It seems people are still discovering the new side effects of Massive Battle, and it's unclear which of these things will reset on Tuesday. So a lot more remains to be discovered and revealed in the aftermath of raid completion. Here's one thing I did want to ask you, though. Where the heck is the Leviathan?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, can you not get to it ever again then? Or I guess I just don't understand.
I guess maybe if you do, like, if you start a brand new character,
maybe
it might be there. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, because even before I bought the DLC, like, I logged into the game just thinking I was just gonna, run around, and it was gone. It's gone. So I don't know.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna have to do some research and figure it out. So yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking about that, though. Like, for anybody that got it free and wanted to go through all of the stuff, it's going to be really hard. It's like every time you got a new expansion for WoW or anything like that, the old end game stuff becomes obsolete and people don't want to do it anymore. Right. So it's like you just keep pushing yourself forward and forward and forward story-wise. Right. And I think that's the only thing you could do with Destiny at this point, too, would be to play through all of the campaigns and then just keep going to the next thing.
I know a lot of my gaming groups wanted to actually do the old raids, and they're gone. Yeah. So, yeah. I
mean, I think it would be fun to do Vault of Glass. I think it would be fun. Like, you would destroy that place, but, I could go just single-handedly, beat Crota to death, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I still might mess up the sword mechanic. I mean,
yeah, probably not.
Because that's what I do.
Well, I'm not even talking about Destiny 1 stuff. I'm talking Destiny 2 because, like, I mean, they purchased the all the downloadable content and stuff like that up until Forsaken, and it's gone. So I don't know if it's bringing it back or if it was just they had to tweak it. I don't know. So it's just kind of concerning. If you paid for the DLC, you should still have it.
All of it. You should still have all of that, and it should still be viable. Like. Right. But I saw people posting on the Destiny 2 Facebook page. Yeah. Like they were looking for people to go do Leviathan, and people were doing it.
Is it? I don't know if it's just my game then, because I just like. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's gone. Like I don't know if I'm just looking in the wrong place.
You've made me want to go and look and see if it's on in my map now.
Sure. I got you.
I don't know. Maybe it isn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't find it. I've been looking everywhere, and I'm like, where's Leviathan? And it just wasn't showing up. So either I'm looking in the wrong place, or I'm just crazy. Probably both.
Maybe.
Yeah,
probably a little both. Yeah,
a little both.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I want to take some time here and talk about let's cover a couple more things before we actually cover this topic, because I think it is going to get kind of back and forth between us. And obviously that topic's about Sony. we'll talk about it. Before we go there, I did want to bring you guys information that Dying Light, the standalone, obviously, single player Zombie Slayer game. Ooh, that rhymed. That's fun. But they made a Battle Royale spinoff called Bad Blood. It's available right now on Steam Early Access. Basically, it's kind of interesting how they did it. There's 12 people go in, and then obviously you're trying to outlast 12 other people. So one comes out. It looked really cool. I think it's still really in early development stages. So it's $20 right now. If you obviously have a PC, you might want to go check it out. If you're, obviously a Battle Royale fan and you're also a fan of Dying Light, kind of hurt, but I did want to bring your attention that game is out. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up as well, before we go into the cross-platform debate and also the Nintendo Direct information today, is Nintendo is still doing amazing things. So apparently, coming to the... I didn't even think this was going to be possible. And I didn't even think they could bring Resident Evil 7 to the Switch. But apparently, if it runs on the cloud, it can run on the Switch. So they did this with Resident Evil 7, and it worked perfectly because everything was on the cloud. Now they're doing this with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And these are games that are way above the capacity for the Nintendo Switch to handle. But apparently they said if they're on the cloud, it works. Wow. Crazy. It also kind of, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of stories this week about Xbox actually working with Intel and I think Radeon about bringing the next online platform. I think that would be really cool. I don't know how the cloud works like that. I really don't know all the technology behind it. I wish I did. But man, that's amazing. If you can have a system with that, low power, because I mean, out of all the systems right now, Switch is a lot more. I would say the Switch is the most interactive and most fun system out there between all of them. But the Switch is the most underpowered as well.
Right. Yeah.
So, I have no idea. The only thing I would tell you, though, is that if you're hoping to get the Assassin's Creed Odyssey on your Switch come October 5th, hold on, my Western friends. It's only coming over to Japan. So I apologize. Yeah.
Same thing with Resident Evil 7. It was the same kind of deal.
Right, and then they released it over here in the West. So you'll have to wait. Obviously, if you want to get it on the Switch, I don't know. I don't know if I would want it on the Switch. I think that's one of the games that you would actually really enjoy, the 4K or HDR. So, but
I agree.
Yeah,
but,
to each his own.
The fact that you can do it is cool.
It's still impressive. Yeah. So, but I wanted to talk about probably, I don't know, maybe next 10, 15 minutes, as long as we have time to cover Nintendo Direct today, because that is super long because there's a lot of games that they announced.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about, obviously, cross-platform play. There's been a lot of stories about it, mostly because of what Sony's response has been. But right now, I would honestly tell you, Sony is in the way of cross-platform play, which is really weird to me because back in 2013, when Sony, obviously, the PlayStation 4 debuted, they, Xbox at that time, their position was an all-in-one media center, and they really doubled down on that by, incorporating the Kinect with it, and they had this cross thing where you could plug in your TV. And I mean, if you still look at your Xbox today, it still has that, HDMI in because you could plug in, your cable. Right. PlayStation was on the totally opposite stance. They basically were like, this is for players, this is, I mean, that was their slogan. This is for players. But their stance on crossplay makes it really clear that lately it really hasn't taken, they really haven't taken those words to heart is really kind of where they're at right now. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, it just seems like they're in their own way. Like I said, they're kind of the a-hole in the left-hand lane on a highway, and they're not going to move for anybody. And
they just hear all the stuff that everybody says, and then they come out with the worst responses.
Right. And we're talking about Fortnite right now with their response because they were probed about Fortnite, and they came out and basically were like, well, you should just play it on the best console ever, PlayStation. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that was pretty much the gist of how it was said. Yeah.
Exactly.
I just don't understand what they're doing though. I mean, it's like I understand console wars, but it's like, Nintendo's over here basically saying, yeah, we'll work with anybody. You can put, we can put old games that were on Xbox and we can put old games that are on PlayStation right on our Switch. I mean, they put Crash Bandicoot. They've had Xbox games on there. So, Nintendo's open to anything. And it wasn't that way before because, I mean, if you go back to the original PlayStation days, the reason that there is a PlayStation is because Nintendo said no to that technology at the time. And that is a true story. That's the way that Sony developed the PlayStation, is because they were working with Nintendo on a gaming console and Nintendo told them no. Thus the Sony PlayStation. And it's been born ever since. Everything has a reason, apparently. Smack. I smacked myself. What was the reason for that? I don't know. But I just think it's very interesting. That's all I gotta say. I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know at what point in time that you realize that I understand console wars, but it's like no one's close to you in sales. No one.
Yeah, there is no war.
There is no war. Yeah, the war is over. Yeah, you guys won.
Won,
right.
Hands down.
Right.
More than doubled what Xbox could do, even if they stopped selling their systems today.
Yeah.
Xbox, I don't think, could still ever catch up.
Right.
In the amount of time that they would need to do
well,
it.
And this is the thing I don't understand either. Sony did that by making video games, making exclusive video games, and just altogether like making a great online experience. And all we're asking them to do is just make the online experience, bring the family together, make it more exclusive to everybody. Because the weird thing is that they're okay for Sony cross-platforming with PC. Like you can play Fortnite with, PlayStation and PC players can play together. But if you own a Nintendo Switch or if you own an Xbox, cancel that. You can't do that. You have to have different accounts. And that's where a lot of people were really upset, because when Fortnite actually came over to the Nintendo Switch and then they were told, nope, sorry, can't do it. And that was actually the day that they put the kibosh on it, was when Nintendo Switch got in that basically the end of the Fortnite game. And then to give the response of, well, you should just play it on the best system. Like, it's like, we're not even really asking for that much. I'm not asking you to compromise your sales, because it's not going to. Because we all know you guys make video games. You guys you've beaten everybody. You're in more markets. People respect your product a lot more than they respect Xbox. It's just true. You guys have put a lot more behind esports than Xbox has. You've done a lot more. Give us something. Just give us a little part. Yeah.
The fact that they're this far ahead, this is the time when you do the olive branch of peace.
Right.
Like, this is it.
This
is the time.
Let's just make cross-platform servers.
Behind.
Right. Exactly.
Because I remember at one point, we had seen something similar to this, but not as bad. The opposite way back at the end of the end of the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, where PS3 was saying, hey, we're open to talking about
cross-platform,
cross-play, and Xbox was like, nope, we're way ahead of you, so no way.
Well, and they were at the time, and I just don't.
They were at the time.
I just don't know if it's a mindset to where it's just like a big screw you because we're so far ahead. Like, instead of, like you said, like offering the olive branch, like they just spit in each other's faces. Like I kind of feel like maybe PlayStation's at the point where it's like, okay, well, we won't forget what you did. Yeah. So, but now it's not just PlayStation. It's PC and it's Switch.
It's everything.
And it's developers.
PlayStation.
Right. And developers are talking about it.
It's the developers and the people making these games are like, it would just be easier for people to be able to play it on the console that they want, but still fight with the other people, still play the game cross-platform with these people and these people, because it gives you a bigger ecosystem. That's all. And
the funny part is too, it's not even hard for, it's not like PlayStation would have to do any additional work, because that would be on the developers and their servers.
Yep.
It would just be basically the licensing rights to allow PlayStation to open the door is all they need to do.
It's literally flipping a switch.
Right. You just need to open the door, allow all the developers to basically just bring everybody into the same server. That's all you're doing. I just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't understand the mindset behind it. Maybe it's just because they had been burned in the past by Xbox, but it's like, at least work with, Nintendo. Or are you still mad because Nintendo told you about the PlayStation? Well, you should be thanking them because now you have one of the most amazing systems out there. I don't know.
Right.
I don't understand what you're doing, Sony. So
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't know. I really just don't understand it. I wish the reason that it's upsetting me right now is because they're talking about, obviously, Fallout 76, having problems connecting everybody because of what PlayStation's doing.
Yep.
So it's out there. If you want to play with your friends that have different systems, you better. I feel like it's creating more of a console war. I kind of feel like this is the South Park episode where everybody's either choosing between the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Like, if you remember that South Park episode, it got bloody. That's all I gotta say. I kind of feel like that's what they want. They want this console war. So
if I could play a game on Xbox, PC, and Nintendo, right? Yeah. If I could play with friends on all three of those things, but if I pick PlayStation, I can only do PlayStation.
Right.
That is going to give me a lot of pause to go, you know what? Screw you, Sony. I'm just going to buy an Xbox now.
I don't know if it would ever get to that point, though. Like, I would say yes if Microsoft had their stuff. I mean. Like, no, I know. If they had the games, right? If they had their stuff together and they were actually making games and things like that, yeah, I could see Microsoft having a little bit more power than that. That's still the problem with Microsoft, and obviously Microsoft thought you were going to get away this week scot-free of us not pointing out to you.
There's your dig at you.
Yeah, there's your dig because you're still not making video games and you're still not following through with what you said you promised at E3. It's not happening. So I wish you both the best, but just right now you guys are you're hurting the industry is all you're doing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
So, but we'll finish the rest of the show. We got about 20 minutes here. I did want to talk about, obviously, Nintendo Direct, just because there's so much that they threw out in just one presentation. So obviously the first thing that they threw out, apparently Luigi is not dead. He's alive.
No.
And they are finally making a Luigi's Mansion 3. Now that is a working title. Have no idea if that's what it's going to be called, but it is going to be the sequel to, obviously, Luigi's Mansion. Fantastic. Looked really, really kind of, cool. Looked cute. Obviously I always enjoyed those games. I'm glad to see that the Grim Reaper didn't kill Luigi like he did in Smash Brothers. Right. But it'd be interesting to see. The other cool thing too that they announced as well is they're still gonna obviously still be making games for 3DS. So they actually fulfilled their promise on that. They are going to put Luigi's Mansion that was on the Nintendo. What was it? Wii U? Was it the Wii U version or was it the Wii? I'm not sure. But they are going to put Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS. So they are porting that over to the 3DS, which is very, very cool that they're doing that. I don't know. Is there a date on that one as of yet? October 12th. I don't know. Yeah, October 12th.
So soon. Yeah.
Yeah, so very, very soon. So it actually is going to happen. The other cool thing that they announced as well, there was new details revealed about, obviously, the new adventures of Mario and Luigi. The inside, it's Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey is what it's called. It looks adorable, though. Like, Mario and Luigi are basically eaten by Bowser, and there's all these mini puzzles and stuff inside Bowser's stomach, which is kind of cutesy in its own way. But then Bowser's Journey, obviously it's, Bowser Jr.'s Journey. Still looks really cool. That's still scheduled for January 11th of 2019, so still kind of a little bit of a wait, but about 4 months away. Not terrible. Yeah. They also announced that Kirby's Epic Yarn, which was I'm trying to remember, was that I think it was a Wii game or Wii U game. But they're porting that over.
Wii U, but I forget. Yeah, one of those two. Yeah,
I got you. They're porting that over to the 3DS as well. So it's very cool. They said there's going to be new modes and new characters that you can play, new mini games and things like that. It's right now. There's no street date on there. It's just at 2019. And then they talked about the Yokai Watch Blasters, the Join Moon Rabbit crew is what they talked about. So that game is still, it's actually available now. They just put that out. So, and then the The Moon Rabbit Crew is actually available the 27th, so in 10 days. So if you like your 3DS, go ahead and do it. There's still time for it. They also talked about Splatoon 2. There was a big update with that game coming out. What is it? Splatoon 4.0, I think is what they said.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Let me see here if I can find it. Was it 4? Hold on. I know it's version something like that. But new costumes, new maps, version 4. I'm sorry. It's version 4. But there's going to be, there's new maps, there's new characters. Well, I don't know if there's new characters, but I know there's new maps, new weapons, just all kinds of cool stuff, new modes. So that is available, I think, right now, actually. So, yeah, go check it out. Or it's coming soon. I don't even know. I have no idea what's going on with Nintendo half the time. So, there's more details, obviously, at the Squid Research Lab. You can find them on Tumblr, so go check them out. New updates, obviously, for Mario Tennis. There will be new characters coming out very soon, new modes. They're finally going to put in the Koopa Paratroopa, and then there's going to be PD Piranha, and then there is, what's her name? The chick from Mario Brothers 2. Shy Guy is going to be in there. There's what is her name? Help me out here, Will. Dear God. Birdo. Birdo.
Oh, yeah, Birdo. I was going to say the one shoots the eggs out of her
mouth.
Weird trunk. Yeah.
it's a mouth. What do you want? Not a trunk. Birdo. She's going to be in there as well. That is going to be available. It's version 2 is what they're calling it, but it's an update available September 19th. Apparently these are free updates. So, fantastic. Yeah. So, fantastic. And then they talked about, obviously, Mega Man 11. I've been playing the demo. I like it. There's also a Mega Man 11 amiibo, which God knows I'll probably go buy. That is available October 2nd, so mark your calendars. They're talking about, obviously, the classic arcade versions of the games are back, which is the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, which actually is out tomorrow on PlayStation, but it will be out for Switch. Let me see if I can get the date. September 18th. So tomorrow. Great. Screwed that up. Great. Good job, Mike. So yeah, PlayStation and Switch. It'll be out tomorrow. They're also talking about, obviously, new Super Mario Brothers U, which was the Wii U version of Super Mario's. This one's going to be actually a deluxe version. It's kind of getting a little old when they just basically taking games and porting them over, and they're like, "Ooh, now it's deluxe." So it kind of gets old, but I mean, there's 164 courses between those games. I mean, because it'll be Mario, the Wii U version, and then there was the Luigi game too that was on there. All will be together. I guarantee you they're probably going to charge you $60, but that's going to be January. Sure. It's going to be January 11th, 2019. I did not know that they were going to remake this game, but if you remember this game, God bless you, but help me out with the name, but it's, what is it? Katamari?
Katamari.
Yeah,
Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, I remember the game, but I think it's very interesting. But it's called Reroll. They're putting it back on Switch. Very, very cool. If you guys remember that game, it's going to be available this winter. No release date on that as of yet either.
Such a weird.
It is a weird game. Yeah.
It's a very not Western game. That's all I can say.
It's a very Japanese game. Yeah.
It was really fun. I liked it because it was just so strange.
Right.
But it's funny. Yeah. Go Katamari Damacy.
There you go. Yep. Other game, obviously get excited if you remember this game. I do remember these games, and I had a lot of fun, like with my roommate, and we used to invite people over, and we used to play these games all night. But Mario Party. New Mario Party on Switch. There's been a lot of buzz about it because apparently you'll be able to hook up 2 Switches together and make maps and stuff like that. That's coming out. Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. Coming out October 5th. There's also a new game. It's a new RPG by Game Freak. I don't know if it's just called The Town. It'll be available in 2019, but that's a working title as well, so there's no real name for it. And then if you weren't tired of nostalgia, I know I am not, sometimes, but Cities Skylines is coming over to Nintendo Switch as well. They're packaging in the After Dark version and the Snowfall version as well. So very, very cool they're doing that. It's available right now. So if you like the Cities games, go check it out. They also announced Well, it it's kind of it's a miniature. I don't know. It says it's a big adventure in a miniature world of crafts, but it's Yoshi. It's new. The new is this the new Yoshi game that they're talking about? I don't think this is the port. Yeah, this is Yoshi's Crafted World, but it will be available spring 2019. So that will keep you tuned for more of that. They're also hooking up with another company. We talked about this before, where they were talking about they're hooking up with a comic book company, so you could read comics digitally, which is very cool. Yeah. But now they're now hooking up with a tabletop company. Thanks to what is it, Asmodee Digital? Probably mispronouncing that. I apologize. But you're going to be able to play board games on your Switch now, which is very cool if you're a board game fan. Yeah. So, and I think they had the Lord of the Rings living card game. I heard Catan was coming over, Pandemic coming over, and that's just the beginning. So, very kind of cool that they're doing that. They talked about the release date for Civilization 6. We've talked about that before. I don't know. Like, when I saw it on the Switch, though, I'm going to be honest, not really that impressed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's Civilization 6 and it's kind of been out before, but that's available on November 16th. They also talked about, obviously, Starlink, which is the game where you're supposed to be able to buy those little ships and put them on your controller and have a lot of fun. They're really pushing Star Fox with this game. Yeah. So they actually, at the end of the trailer, they actually showed Wolf, Star Fox's nemesis. It'll be available October 16th, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. They talked a little bit about, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and the expansion. And then this was way out of left field, but Final Fantasy is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
After so many years of no Final Fantasy games being on Nintendo Switch,
right?
This was a bomb out of nowhere.
Here's the thing. Nintendo Switch showed up last year, so I'm not going to really say so many years Final Fantasy not being on a Switch. Final Fantasy hasn't been on you mean on a Nintendo system?
Yeah, on a Nintendo system.
That's a better way to say that. Yeah, it's been years. But they're putting over Kupo on there. What did they say? 9 was coming over, 10 was coming over, 7 was coming over. I was kind of happy when 7, I heard
9, 10, 10-2,
yeah, Crystal Chronicles remaster, Crystal Chronicles, 15 Pocket Editions coming over. If you guys haven't played that, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, just tons and tons of Final Fantasy games. It's like I'm kind of happy, but then in a way, it's like, where's this remaster or where's the next game that you've kind of been promising us? Because I'm not going to wait until the 35th anniversary to play that. I'm just letting you know right up front. Okay. Yeah. So, but it's kind of cool that they're doing the Kupo edition of 15. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff in there. I think I would probably sit down and play 7 again on Switch.
I probably would too on the Switch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really like 9 though a lot.
9 was great. Yeah.
So it would be, I'm not going to lie, I'll probably get 7, 9.
Yeah.
I don't know about 10 and 10-2 because those.
Well, that was when they changed the combat system. Yeah.
Right. And then, but I would definitely consider doing the Zodiac Age because, I mean,
that was a good one too.
The remaster of that is already nice and it'll look nice on the Switch, I bet.
Right.
So.
And then they talked about a new hardware bundle coming out in November for Smash Brothers. It basically has the characters on the outside of the dock part, and then plus you get a code for the full game download for obviously Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers for when it comes out in December. It looks okay. I don't know. Like, I think I'd rather just buy the custom controller instead of the whole custom system, but they'll be available on November 2nd. They also announced too that obviously getting into the next part, which is the online part, they're gonna make classic controllers that charge on the Switch itself. They have little inputs for the docks, so it's easier to play the classic games that they're going to be available on the online part. Which actually they did announce. These were the two big announcements they did, and then we'll get into the Nintendo Switch Online part because that's the part I really want to talk about. But there was a new challenger, obviously in Super Smash Brothers. What's her name? I'm trying to remember. She's from Animal Crossing. Isabelle. Isabel is actually coming over to Smash Brothers, so she'll be there. And then they did announce that they are making a new Animal Crossing. So fantastic! If you've ever been a fan of Animal Crossing, it's adorable. It's a lot of fun. It's like The Sims. That's all it is. So just with animals. So I know a lot of people I would say people are more tuned into Animal Crossing than The Sims. So I think that's one a more popular game. But then the last part I want to talk about is obviously the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is going to the online service. So they talked about, obviously, there's going to be we already went over the beginning of the show, the whole catalog of the classic games you're going to be able to get yourself. But they also talked about save data. So your save data is going to be saved in the cloud as long as you pay your subscription fees. So you will be able to continue to use the online cloud system, but if you lapse on your payments, they don't save anything. So goodbye. That's interesting. That's just, it's kind of, it's not cool, but I mean, that's a way to grab people. That really is.
It's saying make sure to keep paying.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
if you want to do your online saves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool,
but,
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, the service, it sounds fine, but it's always got to be something with Nintendo.
Sometimes,
they always have to do, they always have the Nintendo way of doing things.
Right.
If you don't log in or if you don't go online once a week, then you get locked out of the whole NES catalog.
Right.
What the heck is that all about?
Well, and I'm still
forget, you just haven't played in a week and you just forget you forget to log in,
right? And
then you have to jump through all these hoops to get your games back.
Well, and I'm still super disappointed as well of their online communication. If you want to play with friends, it's through your smartphone. It's not inbuilt into the system. So it's not like you can just plug in a headset. It's not like you can plug in a headset to your controller like all the other systems have. It's like you have to plug in a controller, you have to plug in a headset to your system and then to your smartphone, and then it works. Because that's how they had the last one. I don't know if they'll update that to where it's just basically going to work through your smartphone now, but it's just unreal on how they have that set up right now.
Yeah, that's not intuitive for anybody.
Right. So it begins tomorrow. Obviously the prices are, if you want to do it by month, it's $3.99. 3 months will cost you $7.99, and then for the year it's $19.99. If you want a family membership for up to 7 other people, that is $34.99. So not horrible prices, but
it's cheap.
It's cheap, but
you're getting what you pay for.
What are you really getting? Yeah. So, you get access to a digital catalog of old games
that you might not even be able to maintain if you don't log in once a week.
Right. And I know Splatoon's already switching over to the online player model. So you have to have the system if you're going to want to play online with, Splatoon. I know that's going to happen. Smash Brothers, I heard, is going to be another one too. So you're going to have the service if you want to play online with Smash Brothers. There's a lot of other games that are switching over as well. I mean, it's no different, obviously, from PlayStation or Xbox, what they do. So, because there's a lot of games that they have that you can't play online. And, you can't play with other people unless you have the service. Yeah.
So now here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus have been around for many years at this point.
Right.
Many years.
Right.
It's one of those things both systems, they both at this point work well. They know what they're doing. These systems are, baked in. Everybody knows them. Everybody uses them. Everybody, we have our, qualms here and there with both. But they're things that Nintendo, how is it that they didn't go and really look at Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus?
I have an answer.
And say, they're Nintendo.
No, it's not because they're Nintendos, because they were stuck in cardboard.
Oh, right, yeah.
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 Thank you.
Yeah. He'll be here all week, folks.
I'll be here all week. Thank you. Yeah. I was in, I was an astronaut, and then I was a race car driver, and then I went fishing, and then I just went home. So that's what I did. So
it's so weird and still half-baked sounding.
It really, and maybe this is just obviously because maybe the prices are so low because they don't know what they're doing as of yet. I don't know, but it just seems like, honestly, to me, this service really is irrelevant. Like, honestly, like there's really, in my eyes, there's really no purpose for it. Like, unless I super start getting into Splatoon, which I'm not, or I super get into Super Smash Brother, which I'm not going to either. Like, I really don't see a purpose of buying this.
I'll pay $20 so that I have a constantly growing
retro
access to a retro catalog.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's the only thing I would use this for.
Sure. Maybe,
I mean, that's it.
Well, maybe maybe that would be just enough. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to hate them for $20 a year. I mean, that's a steal.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But I'm more thinking like I'm going to pay the $20 and then I play on my Switch a lot, but not, sometimes like I go through a lull where it'll be like a week and a half before I pick it up again.
Yeah, me too.
And, if that happens and it's, does it check in as long as you're like the Wi-Fi is logged in on it and it's just in standby? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do I have to physically turn it on every week?
Right.
What hoops am I going to have to jump through to make these games working? I don't know.
We'll find out tomorrow, apparently. So tune in next week and we'll let you know how it goes in. I'm going to get it. I'm just for the retro part alone. I'm going to get it because there's a lot of games that are on the retro part that are not obviously in the classic. So, yeah.
Well, Zelda's there, and then very soon Metroid will be there, and those are my two all-time favorite games.
Yeah, I'll be playing. I'll be playing ice hockey from now until the remainder of this year.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here though. That's all the time we had. We do thank you for listening. We do love you. Please tune in Thursday nights. It's Thursday. Well, what is it? Thursday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
7 o'clock Eastern
Podcast
Standard
Radio
Time.
Network. That sounds right. All right. My mind's completely dead, so we're gonna let you go. We love you. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for tuning in, and be safe this week. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Dads That Game radio podcast. Email us your questions and hate mail to dadsthatgamepodcast@gmail.com.